everybody. Welcome to the Homesteading Grandparents Kitchen this morning. Today is Friday, April 30th, and it's a rainy day in southeast Gulf Coast, Texas area. We were going to do some other things today, but the weather kind of halted our plans, so we decided to get in the kitchen and make a few things for y'all today. I could be cleaning ceiling fans or mini blinds, but who wants to do that when I can be doing this? Because I love to cook. I am going to be doing pickled onions this morning. It's a very, very simple recipe. It's one that we love to do and have for sandwiches. We did these, I know Paul Phil mentioned in one of his previous videos that we had a little business when him and I first got married. It was a little smoke shop slash seafood shop, and we processed deer. I had a little seafood area where we had fresh seafood. I made gumbos, rice and beans. We stuffed chickens. Paul Phil learned how to debone and stuff chickens. That was a pretty good little gig right there, but things happened and we closed shop. But anyway, this is one of the recipes that I used on my sandwiches, and I made Cajun style sandwiches. We made roast beef po' boys, Louisiana style. We did muffulettas, and that was a huge seller. So we'll have to do muffulettas one day. That makes my mouth water thinking about those. Anyway, this is a real simple recipe. We have our garden and we are harvesting our onions now. Not all of them, but this is just some of them that have come out. So they're looking really good. They're getting bigger. Some of them are going to be bigger than this. And they are 10-15 onions, and that's what we pretty much like to use. Or that's pretty much what Paul Phil likes to plant. It's an easy grower and not really a whole lot of maintenance on them. You just watch them grow, and when they fall over, when the tops fall over like this one, that's when you know they're ready. So I've already chopped up onions and put them in jars, and each one of these jars has 2 onions each. And the recipe is, and we have a little cookbook here, and I'll tell you all about it in just a minute, but it's a 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1/2 tablespoon of dill, a 1/2 cup of white vinegar, a 1/4 cup of water, and 2 cups of onions. These take a little bit more than 2 cups of onions. And I'll tell you why I put more onions. You have to pack the jar really tight with your onions. And I mean, I have pushed them down in there because whenever you add the hot liquid, the onions are going to shrink. So we have already made up the mixture. I'll get it hot again and let it come to a boil. I have my lids ready, and I will get those hot again as well. But we've already put all of the ingredients in here and got it hot just to save time for the video. And I'm going to go ahead and chop some more onions and get another jar ready after I make these 2 jars up. These you do not have to water bath because you don't want to cook the onions. And if you put them in hot water in the jar like we normally would a lot of other items, it would cook the onions, and you don't want them cooked because you kind of want them a little crunchy like a pickle. It's a sweet, sour onion that goes wonderful on a sandwich. We love them like that. You can even eat them just like that. But anyway, while that stuff is heating up, I will show y'all, if I don't tear everything else up first, we just cut the ends off, and we compost all of our vegetable trimmings. We have a compost bin, And Pafil uses the compost material once it's all decomposed and sat there for a long time. He will use it in his garden mixes, and it makes a beautiful, beautiful soil. And it's really good for the new growing for the following year. We have one that, I don't know, it probably took about 2 years before it was actually ready to use, but it was real good. So, and Pafil is behind the camera today. He's not in front of the camera. And I'm going to have him, once I get these cleaned off. And if we don't use all these, I'm going to do one more jar. We have one more jar ready. Actually, the recipe calls for the dill to be in the pot, but let me show you why we have opted to put the dill at the bottom of the jar. And it's still the same. It'll still taste the same, but we did some last summer with our onions from last year, and we still have a few jars, but these onions are coming on, and we wanted to kind of do something with them. And I will chop the rest of these up and I'll put them in the freezer. But this is one from last year, and we did the recipe to the recipe. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the dill stays on the top. I don't know what it is about it. It floats to the top. So we put the dill at the bottom of the jar. We're going to see if that's going to make a difference or not. So my lids are, I need to get those going. They're already boiling. That vinegar is pretty strong. Got my eyes watering here. Pafil, do you want to come wash my onions for me? Oh, he walked away from me. It's all right. So the recipe that I'm using, my sister gave to me, and bless her soul, she's gone on. She's one of my older siblings, and again, I know I've told y'all I'm from a family of 18 and I'm the youngest. And her and I shared a lot of recipes together. She lives here. She lived here in Santa Fe. I moved here 30 years ago to Texas. She was single raising 2 kids. I was single raising 2 kids, and I moved in with her, and we kind of raised our kids together a little bit for a little while till she found her special man and got married, and such is life. But anyway, she gave me this recipe. Pafil was his place of work, made these recipe books for a United Way thing, and he put the recipe in here, and I have some of my other recipes in there. Okay, so the mixture is boiling. So all we do, and again, the dill is at the bottom of the jars. We just pour it over. Whoa, coming out there, coming out there. And this mixture, we doubled the recipe for these 2 jars. So that was perfect. And I am going to wipe these off. Top these off there. Looks good. It smells really good. Actually, our 5-year-old granddaughter Abby loves these. She's one of our good eaters. She'll try a lot of different things. She's tried raw onion before. She'll try just about anything. She didn't like the raw onion, but she does like these. And I think a lot of kids would like them. It's a lot like a pickle. So that's all we do on these. And once they cool, we will refrigerate them, since they're not going to be water bathed. And I just tighten the lids down and let it set. And the dill is already rising. And I know y'all can't see that, but the dill is already rising to the top, which is kind of funny to me because we put it on the bottom especially to keep it mixed in and not all on top, but it's kind of funny it's coming to the top. So anyway, so I'm going to continue to cut the onions and we'll do another batch. We'll get it all ready. So we'll end up with 4 jars today, and then whatever's left over I'll just chop up and put in the freezer for my cooking. And y'all come back after a while. I'm going to do meatloaf in a little while. Like I said, today's a cooking day, so I'm going to do a meatloaf. And I know most of you are probably thinking, meatloaf, really? This is one like you've never seen before. It does not have a red tomato paste, tomato sauce on top of it. It's with a brown gravy, and it's really the best meatloaf I've ever had. My sweet little mother-in-law, it's her recipe. And when I had that meat, because I was not a meatloaf person, I didn't care for it. If I'm going to have ground meat and tomato sauce, it's going to be spaghetti, not meatloaf. This one's good. So y'all stay tuned. Come back in a little while. See ya.